Hello, let me just sort this out, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Stretford Post, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on Breaking Dawn. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fine. Thank you, guys, for joining me today. Before I start, it ain't a good start, is it, really? I'm all over the place. But thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video. That will be absolutely fantastic. Thank you, absolute legends, you absolute diamonds. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel, of course, guys. Now, look. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. We've had a bad couple of days, of course, since Manchester United lost to Everton. Kind of ruined my birthday, to be honest with you. Was thinking about it quite a lot. But ultimately, what I feel like is the biggest problem at Man United, and I feel like what was overriding me with frustration is the fact that our team, we have shown, Ruben Amorim and the football team have shown what they can do. They've shown they can beat Liverpool at Anfield. They've shown they can beat Chelsea. They've shown they can smash up Brighton and Hove Albion. They've shown they can beat Sunderland. But there are these moments in football where they just go missing. And I spoke about it on various channels, other channels, about Manchester United's habit of drifting into the abyss for 20, 30 minutes in games. And this is vital. But when I look at the Everton games, it was something completely different. It was from the kickoff. From the kickoff, from the get-go, we were not at the races. And it doesn't matter if you're playing against 10. It doesn't matter if you're playing against 8. It just takes a few of those players to be given 100% and your whole team to not be given 100%. And then all of a sudden, you will lose the game. You're liable to lose the game. What's frustrating for me is that I understand that Ruben Amorim has made errors in basically in-game management, team selection, etc., whatnot. He has. We'll be delusional not to think he is, but he is still a young manager. Let's not forget that. He's 40 years old. He's a young manager, but we have seen signs that this is working. We've seen signs. We've seen characteristics from our manager to the team that this team can play it when they're up for it. And that is the biggest key. Now, I understand that Ruben Amorim has made mistakes. Ruben Amorim has made a few mistakes. But is it Ruben Amorim who teaches these players not to pass a 2-yard ball? Is it Ruben Amorim who teaches these players when they cross, they hit the first man? Is that Ruben Amorim? Is it Ruben Amorim who teaches these players to be selfish and not picking out the open man, not picking in Bremer when he was clean through a few times? Is that Ruben Amorim? Now, look, I understand that people, they switch like a flip-flop. Even some people I like, they switch like a flip-flop and they're like, I'm done with this manager after one result. But 5, we've been okay. But 1 result, I'm done with this manager. It's a lack of intelligence. It's a lack of understanding. Some of them claim that they supported Man United for years. They've been there for years. They supported Man United through thick and thin. But as soon as one loss, they've given up. They've thrown in the towel. Now, look, I'm not sitting here and saying that, you know what, Ruben Amorim's the guy, he's going to get us to the promised land and stuff. I still believe he can. But one thing I would say is this. Yes, he's not exempt from criticism. Nobody is. But when you feel the need just to attack the manager, right? When I've spoken in the summer about 4 out of 10 windows, 5 out of 10 windows, when I've spoken about that, when I come on the channel every single week, Glazers out, Ineos out, Glazers out, Ineos out, full sale only. Guys, when you saw, if you knew me when the takeover process was going on, if you knew me back then, you would know what I went through to fight for the full sale. You would know what I did to try and get Qatar. I went on Qatari television. I've done all that business. Now, look, as I said, I'm not exempting Ruben Amorim from blame, but we have to look at reasons behind everything. Some people say, no, but why did he only have 3? Why did he have 5 at the back? Why didn't he make... Guys, how many attacking players do we have? You're expecting Shea Lacey, who I rate very highly, to come on that pitch and make a huge difference. We have no squad. We are thin to the ground. Our team is shallow as hell. We've got a very shallow team, a very thin squad. And this is what we're talking about. This is precisely why it is a 4 out of 5 or 10 window. Again, please don't take it that I'm defending Ruben Amorim here, because I'm not. I'm talking about what's going to give Manchester United the biggest opportunity to succeed. What is the biggest opportunity? It doesn't matter what manager we bring in. You can bring in any manager in Europe. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to have the same problems. Areola, Glasner, whatever you want. It's going to be the same thing. Don't worry about that. It's just going to be painted different. You know, so what I'm talking about is this, right? I think we need to refrain from the flip-flop nature, turn against the manager, simplistic mentality, and start aiming the energy at Ineos. Start aiming the energy at the Glazers. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who don't back Ruben Amorim. They didn't back Ruben Amorim in the summer. They gave him a 40% backing. That's not enough when the team came 15th in the league. Ruben Amorim may have been the wrong guy at the wrong time. Ruben Amorim may be the promised manager for Man United that's going to bring us back to the glory days. But how can you do that when you bring in a manager with a certain philosophy and you don't back him with his philosophy, with his players? You don't back him. How do you expect a manager to do his job? I said it many, many times, sending in a man into a sword fight with a breadstick. I've said it loads of times, guys. Hundreds of times. How many times do I need to say it? You need the tools to succeed in football. It's not just about, you know what, we bring the manager in and just play. Man United, if they want sustainable success, if they want to be challenging at the top, just like Arsenal did with Arteta, just like Man City did with Pep Guardiola, just like Chelsea are doing with Enzo Maresca, you've got to back the manager fully. Not 50%, not 40%, not 30%, not 20%, 100%. Back the manager. Who do you want? Who don't you want? Which player do you need? That position, that position, that position. That is what it's all about. The game against Everton was a disgrace. I know that. It was a disgrace. But can you entirely blame the manager for that? Regardless if it's a 3-4-2-1, regardless if it's a 4-3-3, regardless what it is, you should still defeat Everton. When Everton, especially, are down to 10 men, it should still be the case. Everton dominating that game is not a managerial problem. Everton dominating that game with 10 men, where when you get Sheffield United or any team in the Championship or League One, if Everton went down to 10 men, would dominate that game. It's down to these players. It's down to the captain. It's down to the players that have been there for years. It's down to the players that have been there serially failing for many, many years, guys. Serially failing for many, many years. It's down to that. Now, of course, Ruben Amorim may not be that guy. He may not be that guy. He may get sacked. He may leave. But what's the point? Who's coming in? What's the point? Who's coming in? Who's coming in? Who's going to come in and change the mentality of these players? These same players that have sacked numerous amounts of managers. How many do we need to sack? How many managers do we need to sack? And how many times do these players need to be let off the hook? And that's what I'm saying. Like against Grimsby. You don't need tactics against Grimsby. I could manage Man United against Grimsby. I think every one of you could manage Man United against Grimsby. Every single one of those players know what they need to do to beat Grimsby. That's not a managerial issue. That's a mentality and a cultural issue at this football club that needs to change. And it's been like this for ages, for years, right? And I've been saying it over and over again. And you can I said it with Erik ten Hag before some of you were here. I said it with Erik ten Hag. Back in the day, I said, Erik ten Hag, sack him. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. And you guys were here when I said it. Sack Erik ten Hag. It's not going to change, guys. And lo and behold, here we are. Whatever manager you want to bring in, bring in any manager you want. Get the hipster manager. Get it. Bring him in. Because I guarantee you this, you will forget it. I guarantee you this, that we'll be here in a year's time, in a year and a half's time, talking about the same thing. But you guys will forget what I've been talking about. You guys will forget that I spoke about the manager. Sacking the manager is not going to fix the issue. I said it back then, and I'll say it again. It's not the issue. It's the easy target. If you come at me with flexibility in regards to your opinions and your narrative, I will give you some earway. If you tell me, yes, the manager made mistakes, but we also have to blame the board, and we also have to blame Ineos and the Glazers, I will listen to you. I'll say, you know what you're talking about here. Yeah, you got something. That's what I'm talking about. Don't just say, oh, it's the manager, the manager, the manager, the manager. I'm done with the manager and the manager. Because when you say that, my opinion of you just goes like this. It's like it comes crashing down on me. I'm like, this guy doesn't have football IQ. You know, because at the end of the day, I'm looking at the game. I want Man United to win, right? I'm looking at these players. I'm seeing Man United against 10 men Everton, and I'm seeing we can't even pass 2-yard passes from there to there. Basic errors, basic problems at this football club. Basic. That's not a managerial thing, right? Ruben Amorim was a player who played for Portugal and Benfica. He knows the basics of football, right? So at the end of the day, what is he telling them to not pass 2-yard balls? Is he telling them to give a half-hearted performance? Is he telling them not to get stuck in? He's certainly not, isn't it? I would bet my life that he's not doing that. I would bet my life that he's not telling these players to go out there and not give 100%. Because that is what it seemed like at the weekend. It seemed like, let me give a characteristic of what it seemed like. It just seemed like it was a friendly game. It was a friendly game. And Man United were playing in a pre-season friendly and we weren't playing well, but we just, all right, just go through the motions, let the game finish, and that's it. That's how it felt like. You know, you could scream and shout at the top of your lungs, right, before the game starts and push these players before the game starts. But if these players are not up for it, like they've done numerous amounts of times, what do you want the guys to do? What do you want managers to do? What do you want them to do? And I've said this numerous amounts of times. Hundreds of thousands of times. We can go back to the 4-3-3. Fantastic. Get a new manager in. Get Areola. Get Glasner. You know what? I actually feel like we should. Because I want to double clarify this. That when it happens again, I'm going to point my finger and you say, I thought you said it was the formation. I thought you said it was the manager. I thought you said it was the tactics. I thought you said it was that. What's going on there? We have to understand how Arteta became successful at Arsenal, how he starts to play good football and everyone's buying into the philosophy. How did he do that? How did he do that? People laugh at Arteta when he got the light bulb and things like that. But why was he bringing the light bulb out? Why was he getting the light bulb? Why was it? It's because of mentality. Fix your mentality. Fix your mentality. Lighten up. Fixing your mentality. That's what it was all about. Right? These players have no idea what mentality and winning mentality is. It's either that or they don't care. Or they're pretending and acting because they're very good actors. If they do care. You know, and that's what I would say about that, guys. Absolutely. Big up everyone in the stream. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to get into some transfer news in regards to Manchester United, of course. Man United are going to be linked to lots of players in January. And this is where we differentiate between, are they backing a manager? Are they not backing a manager? What are they doing? Do they care? And this is where we get to this point, okay? Man United are linked to Turkish international Zeki Çelik. Now, Zeki Çelik is a Turkish international, 58 caps for Turkey, 3 goals, 28-year-old from Roma, valued at around only 6 million euros. Now, it does look like Ineos or the Glazers are looking at Manchester United in January and thinking about bringing a couple of more experienced heads in this team. I mean, I do think we need a couple of experienced players there, in particular in those positions. Not least in the right back position, which Çelik plays. Now, Çelik, of course, is on a free transfer at the end of the season. But Man United feel they can do a deal in January for around 6 million. This is why his price tag is so low, because he will be on a free transfer in the summer. So 6 million for Çelik would probably suffice probably might even be lower than that for Çelik, guys. And he would be a good signing for Man United, in my opinion. Experienced right wing back who can play various amounts. And you know, one thing about it is like we've got a lot of kids in our team. That's another thing about us. We've got a lot of kids in our team, and we do need to bring in a couple of experienced players there. Now, a few weeks ago, guys, I spoke about a player named Hasan Huijlago. Hasan, it's a very hard name, Huijlago. Hasan Huijlago. He plays for Leipzig, okay? Leipzig player, Germany, 1 cap, 1 goal, only 19 years old. Centre midfielder, left midfielder, and attacking midfielder, versatile player, guys, valued at around 10 million euros, currently playing for Leipzig. Guys, very, very talented, highly sought after player who can play in the centre midfield, left wing, and attacking midfielder. So he's very, very versatile. very versatile, and something that Man United are looking at bringing in is players that can play in various positions, not just one. As we've seen evidently this season, the problems that arise when you've only got players that can play in one position, and we're going to see that in the African nations as well. When the African nations comes along, you're going to see that there are many players that only can play one position. It'd be great if we can have a player that can play left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder. And when you're looking at Chelsea, fantastic result for Chelsea at the moment. Yesterday, fantastic result against Barcelona. But when you look at Chelsea, they are doing this. They're purchasing players that can play in various positions on the pitch. They're purchasing. And I think that's what Man United need to do going forward. We need to do that going forward, of course. So Hassan Guijlago, who plays for Leipzig, 1 cap for Germany, 1 goal, 10 million. He is rated, guys, 19 years old. And this is something that Man United are looking at. He's a name that I've mentioned before, but Man United are looking at players they could quite possibly bring in January, which is a realistic proposition to bring in January. They're looking at that type of thing at the moment. Players that we can bring in January, of course, guys, absolutely. There are others, obviously. I spoke about Victor Froholt as well, who is a Porto 19-year-old centre midfielder, right midfielder, attacking midfielder. You see the similar in regards to the similar positions that they play. He's valued at 22 million as well. Man United are very, very interested in him, as well as strikers like Sekou Guirassy, as well. Other strikers that we're looking at. We're looking at attacking. We're looking at midfield. We're looking at the right side of our pitch, who's going to be redundant when the African nation starts, of course, guys, which we have to look at, obviously, very, very, very carefully, of course, guys. Let me just say hello to the community. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome, everyone, guys. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Let me just say good morning to the legends. Good morning to my guy, Benny. How you doing, my friend? Big up, Benny. Doesn't matter who comes in. Players' mentality isn't right for this club. Big up, Benny. I agree. Monday night is a really apparent how poor the squad really is. Amram hasn't got the tools to give him the tools. Absolutely, brother. Exactly what I'm talking about, and I like that. I like people think like this, my guy. I like people think this way. This is what it's all about at the end of the day. This is what it's all about. It's about thinking away from the narrative, away from that narrative. Manager. Yeah, managers can blame, but if you're just bringing in the manager only and you're not looking at any other aspect of the game, I mean, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I'm done with him. You know, that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys, absolutely. I'm done with him. Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Let me just say good morning to All Bars One. What's going on, my guy? I hope you're doing well. Big up Arman. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up Max. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Big up Sydney. Hope you're doing well down under. Of course, mate. Big up my friend. Very frustrating. Of course it is. Absolutely. Big up Benny. Of course. Good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Big up Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good morning, sir. I'm happy they booed the players on the final whistle. They switched on and off the players. They switch on like a light tap. You can't go to Anfield. You can't beat Brighton. You can't beat Sunderland. You can't beat Chelsea if you don't have talent, if the tactics don't work. We've done that, right? But this is the problem with this team. When the time comes, switch off like a tap. Switch it off like a tap, and that is the problem that I'm having with this team, you know, and I do not trust them anymore. We will go to Crystal Palace and we will beat Crystal Palace. We will defeat Crystal Palace, and then we'll go to Wolves and lose, or we lose to West Ham. And this is the problem with this team. You can't trust this team. You don't know what team is going to show up at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the day. Lawrence, morning, Sal. I thought about it, and it may sound lame excuse, but there's too many international break disrupting and disturbing the momentum of the season. But everyone has that, Lawrence. Everyone has that. Everyone has an international break. Everyone has international players. We can't use that as an excuse. What it is, if we don't have the squad, Ineos need to improve the squad. That's what they need to do, because we quite obviously don't have the talent in the squad and the depth of the squad to fix the squad. You know, at the end of the day, Everton had loads of internationals out. You know, they were down to 10 men as well. There's no excuses for that. The fact of the matter is we have players in our squad that when the time comes, can't be bothered today. Can't be bothered. It's only Everton. We're going to just turn up and we're just going to win. It's only Everton. We're just going to forget about it, you know. This is the problem, of course. Good morning, Jamie. How you doing, my friend? I've been a complete lack of intelligence, Sal. It's exhausting now. No balance in their arguments. It will happen again. We win the next 5, lose again. Amram out. Pathetic. Let them breathe, for fuck's sake. Jamie, absolutely spot on, brother. Absolutely spot on, brother. And this is what I'm talking about. Win 5 games undefeated, lose 1 game, getting them out of my club. This is the problem. And I've always been the same. The way I think, whether it is being overly zealous, overly confident, or overly negative, overly, you know, manager out, etc. I've always been down the middle. I've never been extreme in my opinions. I've always called things how I see it. And I always called things from various different angles. I've never exempted anyone from criticism. Even before the games, when I see a lineup, if I don't agree with the lineup, I'll say, look, he's got it wrong there. I think he's tactically wrong. He shouldn't be playing him there. But I guarantee you this, before the game against Everton, I never had one person come to me before the game against Everton and say, I'm not feeling that team. I don't like that team. That team's the wrong selection. I think most of us came on in there. If you didn't, you lying, right? I think most of us came on the stream and said, I don't mind the team. Great opportunity for Xerxes playing in this game. Absolutely brilliant opportunity for Xerxes. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't think anyone came out and said, no, why is he playing Xerxes? Why is he doing that? You know, Xerxes this, that. No. No one did that, did they? Because everyone was saying, oh, Xerxes deserves his chance. He's had his chance. He's flopped. Mainu's had his chance. He's flopped. They've all had their chances and they flopped. Exactly what I've been talking about. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But one thing is for certain, right? One is things, you will never see me doing that. You will never see me calling the manager's head after one game. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's ridiculous. Ephraim. Sal, some of our fans, they do not see the bigger picture. They own it. Look, at the end of the day, Ruben Amorim is not going to be sacked, guys. Let me just tell you that right now. They are not going to sack Ruben Amorim, right? And this is it. This is what we're talking about. And if they do sack Ruben Amorim, bring in the new manager and let's see how far we get. Let's see how long it takes before we're saying sack that manager as well. Let's see how far it gets before we're saying get him out of our football club. Whilst Bruno and Dalot and Maguire and Shaw and Mason Mount and all these rubbish players down tool again. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Ryan, I agree, Sal, but sure, Bruno, Maguire, Dalot were in the leadership team. They're in the leadership team, but they've been in the leadership team for a long time. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, no matter what team played at the weekend, they should still be Everton. It doesn't matter about leadership teams. I mean, every single player to a man, even our new players in Premo, played poorly. What is that? You know, it's nothing buts about it. At the end of the day, maybe if Ruben Amorim was backed, we wouldn't have this leadership team. How'd you about that? You know what I mean? How about if he was backed, we wouldn't have a leadership team like that. He's picking a leadership team based on players that are experienced, right? Now, these players are experienced. Other than that, they're not, right? And if he went out and said, right, I want a complete rebuild, a complete clearance, that's it. This is a theoretical leadership team that is there because they're experienced. That's it, right? Because they've been there a long time. They know the club. But it doesn't stop Ruben Amorim saying that we're going to sell Maguire at the end of the season. We're going to sell Casemiro at the end of the season. Bruno may be leaving the football club at the end of the season, you know? Absolutely, Benny. Absolutely. We just need a few more players. How fast we can get them is what matters. It matters about the ball, doesn't it? It matters about the ball. Now, those people who are stepping to me saying, oh, no, Sal, it's a 7, 8 out of 10 window. When what world are you living in? What bonkers world are you living in? What bonkers world? You fixed 3 players in the team and then it's a 7, 8 or 10. My goodness, we're easily pleased. Glazers love that, by the way, when Man United fans are easily pleased. We need about 6 players of quality. I agree with that, Benny. Absolutely, I agree with that. Spot on, my friend. We need about 6 or 7. The old and the new aren't uniting. The new signings this year, and then a lot of the below pros, and the manager was eras now. Other managers eras now. Below pros and from other manager eras. Now, look, yeah, I get you. This is a good point, Lawrence. This is good because at the end of the day, when you change the manager, you do have a backlog of players that exist from the previous manager. We still got Luke Shaw. He played under Louis van Gaal, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Marcus Rashford's still at the football club. He's going to come back in the summer. We still got, obviously, other players that are going to come back to the football club as well. Onana's going to be coming back to the football club. And this is what we're talking about at the end of the day. If you're going to bring in a manager with a distinctive style of play, you have to back him 100%. Clear the lot, get the whole team in. Because 40% doesn't do the trick. You've got to back him fully. Because as you said there, the new players and the old players don't mix. They're not mixing. It's not working. There's no chemistry. You need a completely new team. That's what Man United need. I know that Bruno's capable of magic moments. I know that magic moments sound like the chocolate advert, but I know that Bruno Fernandes is capable of magic moments. But to be honest with you guys, he's the captain of the worst Manchester United team that has ever been. You think that Man United will be performing like this if Roy Keane was there? if Roy Keane was there, do you think that Man United would be performing like this? Absolutely not. You know it. We need to do what Chelsea did, just spend $1 billion and get all the players the right positions. Exactly. Maybe it will work, but we need to do that. We need to look at David. What is the probability? This is what we have to ask ourselves. Have you got a bigger probability of succeeding, spending $1 billion, or have you got a bigger probability of spending 200 million? Let's ask ourselves the question. Yeah, some of the transfers, some of the signings may not work, but what's the greater probability of Man United succeeding? $1 billion or 200 million? $1 billion on a team that is already a big squad, is already a good team, right? Already qualified for the Champions League, or 200 million on a team that came 15th, who's got players that are known to down tool. And that is what we have to understand. That's what we have to look at. Unfortunately, people are not looking at. Big up, Gems. How you doing? Long time no see. I hope you're doing blessed. Good to see you, of course. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Nice. Good to see you. Sal. So, Jim, is the worst thing to happen to United since they our win ratio is declining. We have to look at this, and we have to look at what is going on at the moment. At the end of the day, whatever you think about Ruben Amorim, they hired Ruben Amorim. They didn't only hire Ruben Amorim, it was their responsibility to back Ruben Amorim, which they have not done. And if anyone thinks that they're backing Ruben Amorim, I don't know what planet you're coming from. I think you're coming from Mars, because they have not backed Ruben Amorim to the point of what we need, right? As my guy said there, David said, spending money like Chelsea have done, it's got to be done. You may waste some money, but unfortunately, that's the only way you're going to compete in this league. You have to bring in players. That working? No, that's not working. And we're not even saying spend $1 billion. We're saying spend 500-600 million on the team, but they're not going to do that. This is the problem, you know. And then people. The thing is that the problem is that it's Ruben Amorim who's going to get the flack. It's Ruben Amorim who's going to get the sack. It's Ruben Amorim who's going to be out of the football club. You know. Gems, they don't back themselves, never mind anyone else. Gems, look, you know what I've seen, what I've heard over the last few months and since last year or so, since the Genios have been in charge, I've just heard a whole lot of hot air. I've heard a whole lot of nonsense from them. I've seen promises, I've seen broken promises. Whatever happened to they're going to purchase the full club in 2026? Whatever happened to that? I'd like to know what happened to that. Whatever happened to Sheikh Jassim Hamid doesn't exist, coming from Jim Ratcliffe's mouth, right? Where's the apology for that? Because we've seen him. We've seen him at football matches. Where's the apology for that? We just looking at, you know, at the end of the day, they have come in, manipulated some of the weak-minded fan base, and they've come in and they've done absolutely F-all. All they've done is given us a ChatGPT stadium and said, here you go, this is the plans for the future, running to the wrong destination. Hate to use their quotes, but that's what they're doing, running to the wrong destination in regards to the stadium, because we don't need a stadium. We need a bloody football team. That's what we need. Spend the billions on the football team. We will make a stadium organically if we are successful. And this is what we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? David, we need players with character and heart. We'll die for this club. Absolutely. Not literally, but we need players that put in the players that love the football club. David, me and you, we will give 100% regardless. When we go on that pitch, we may not be as fit. We may not be as talented as the guys on the pitch, but I guarantee you this, we will run until we have a bloody asthma attack. We will run until we're on the floor. We can't breathe anymore and we can't run anymore until our legs feel numb. If we played for Manchester United right now, we will be running until our legs cannot take up and we'll be falling on the floor, heaving. That is what we are, right? We love this football club. We will play for this football club for free. We just want players who understand this football club, who understand the legacy of the football club, the history of the football club. The people who died for this football club. The people who give their right arm to play for this football club right now. You know, players who are standing on the shoulders of giants to this day. They've got this platform, these content creators, these players, they got this platform because of the people that bloody put their life on the line for this football club. You know, and this is what we're talking about, just like we would. But we're not asking for that. We're not asking for put your life on the line for this football club. All we're asking for is you understand this football club, you love this football club, and you want this football club to succeed. You understand where this football club came from. That's what I want to see. You know, there's many players out there, And all, including the captain, including all these players who just don't understand where this team, this football club come from, you know? Yes, Hassan, Drago, yes, that Claire, yep. We are interested in him, as we have been for a while. Of course, big up our man, big up, hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sanjay, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. We've at 7, the players themselves, the players themselves the other night, not only quality, but the lack of character that cope with the pressure of being Manchester United player, absolute fannies. Revert 7, spot on. Exactly what I've been talking about. Every single one of those players do not have what it takes to be Man United players. Now, there are some, this is exactly what I'm talking about. There are some players who are very talented. Don't get me wrong. They're talented, but they haven't got this to play for Man United or this to play for Man United. That's the difference. They let me down so badly at the weekend. I'm telling you right now, they let me down so badly, you know, that I thought, oh my goodness me. I've not seen a performance like that ever at Man United with 10 men Everton. Think about the context. 10 men Everton. You know what I mean? I'm telling you right now, if any other those Premier League teams played against Everton, against 10 men, they're winning that game. And they got less talent than us. You think Bournemouth wouldn't beat Everton if Everton go down to 10 men? You think Wolves wouldn't beat Everton at Molineux if they went down to... Guys, we all know what it is, isn't it? Big up, Revert 7. We need that. We need the players that can play in various positions, but need that coach that on adapt, change the needed to. I'm not saying, but I mean, I don't think it's to do with tactics or adaptation. He's adapted. The players don't know how to adapt. This is the thing. The players don't know how to adapt. He's adapted. He said he's adapted. He's adapting long ball, short ball. He's adapted to a 4-4-2 during the game. He's transitioned into the game. But these players don't have the intelligence to do it. This is what we're talking about. They don't have the intelligence. Why was Sporting Lisbon crying when Ruben Amorim left? Why were they doing that? Because he can't adapt. It's to do with the players. They can't adapt. He can talk about you can lead a cow to the river. Doesn't mean that the cow is going to drink from the river, does it? This is the thing, you know. Good morning, Revert 7. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Banter is who mate. Highline for life. Highline for life, mate. Big up yourself. P.S. Some of these fans are dumb. They don't see that the players are a problem, but we're always focused on the manager because the manager is the front page, is the book. They look at the book, they look at the cover, they don't read the book. This is what I'm talking about. They look at the cover, they don't read the book. They say Ruben Amorim, the Ruben Amorim's in lights, his face is in lights everywhere. Ruben Amorim, he's the problem. They're like sheep. You know what I mean? They're like sheep. They're not one of them are mentioned, oh, bloody subpoor, he can't pass a 2-yard pass. Not one of them are mentioning it. Not one of them are talking about it. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't feeling the Everton result the weekend before. Everyone was just looking at the goal difference for fourth and the 4-0 last time. Everton performing well against bigger teams this year. Not with 10 men then that. At the end of the day, everyone has a right to want to be Everton. We should have the right to believe that we're going to be Everton, Lawrence. Especially with 10 men, right? At Old Trafford. We've never lost to David Moyes. So how long was it now? 10 years since we lost at home to Old Trafford. The problem is not the coach. Old faces must go. Bruno is fantastic player. Leadership is not working. I agreed. No teamwork. Losing balls unnecessarily. Absolutely. This is what the problem is. And at any given time, these players can let you down. These players were down tools, and that's what happens, of course. That is the problem at Manchester United, of course. Max, I hope things turn around soon. The issue is assessment. The problem is, Max, right? What I would say this, and I said it. I'm not saying that we're going to beat Crystal Palace, but I'll give you an example, right? We will probably go out and beat Crystal Palace, okay? But then we'll go and lose to West Ham. This is what we're talking about here. This is the problem at this football club. I don't trust these players. I don't trust them. And I don't care if there's only a few of them left. They're still there. It only takes one of those players to down tool, one of those players to say, look, I don't feel in it today, for you to lose the game, you know? Donin, every manager inherits players from previous manager. It's the job to mold their team. Absolutely not, Donin. No, it's not. Not when the players are toxic. Not when the players are serial losers. Not when Manchester United are expected to be in the Champions League. You think that Chelsea say, mold them together? You think that Man City say, Mold them together. Do you think that Liverpool say, mold them together? No, because they're expected to challenge for titles. We're not talking about Everton here. We're not talking about Wolves. We're not talking about Southampton. This is Manchester United. We have players there that can't be molded. Unmoldable. Ceramics FC. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have no players there that can be molded. That's the difference. It's not the manager's fault. It's not the manager. The manager has a completely different style of football. If these players don't have the intelligence to play a style of football, then they're not right for the team. They're not right for the team. If you don't have a right wing back, what are you going to do? Are you going to play a midfielder as a right wing back? If you don't have a backup centre back, what are you going to do? You're going to play a striker as a centre back. If you haven't got the players, how can they be molded? It doesn't make sense, mate. Absolutely not. 200 million without a doubt. Absolutely. Sal, I can't believe Bruno said in an interview, I can control games. He's he's delusional, man. Absolutely, he's delusional. Absolutely right. Big up, my friend. Big up, Facts. Big up, Gems. Big up yourself, guys. Max, Donan, yes, but it doesn't help unless the owners support the manager. Exactly. Do you think, guys, that the Chelsea owners got Enzo Maresco into the football club, right? Enzo Maresco into the football club said that you have to deal with what you got. No, you mold it together. You think he did that? Do you think they did that to Pep Guardiola? Do you think they did that to him? Do you think they did that? I'm just going to fix one position, but I'm not going to fix the rest of the team that came 15th last season. Have been serial but underperforming for 10 years. You know what I mean? Benny, we as a community are playing straight into the media hand. Exactly. Liverpool spend $500 million. They have lost many games, and we load pressure on our manager. Exactly. Ryan, we carry too many average players. Dalot, he's just a passion merchant. Bruno ain't captain material. Casemiro was sure he only turns up when things matter of time. And exactly this, Ryan. Exactly this. These players, right, who've already been molded, who dry as fuck, right, who are bloody Michelangelo FC, Florence FC, goodness me, right, are already molded into the sculpture that they're going to be molded into. They cannot be remolded, right? I'm talking about Dalot, I'm talking about Maguire, I'm talking about Shaw, I'm talking about Bruno, I'm talking about Casemiro, I'm talking about Mount, I'm talking about these players, right, who can no longer be molded into the sculpture that we wish them to be molded into, right, because they're already bloody dry, right, at the end of the day. Now, you can tell everyone. I could go to Liverpool in the 90s and say, right, you know what? You've got to make Peter Crouch into prime Ronaldinho. You've got to mold Peter Crouch into prime Ronaldinho because I want you to play that way. I want you to play that way. Come on, guys. Logic. Come on, guys. We have to be realistic here. We have to be realistic here, guys. You know what I mean? Benny, after money that was spent, they should be on top of the league, given Amram $500 million and see where we'd be. Exactly. And also Liverpool inherited the winning team with Champions League winners and champions. What are we inheriting? What? Of serial losers? Bunch of serial losers. When Mbeumo and Ahmed go for AFCON, then who will play? Thank you very much, my guy. Thank you. I'll tell you who will play for Chelsea. I will tell you who will play for Liverpool. I can tell you who are going to play for Man City. I, for the life of me, can't tell you who's going to play for Man United because Man United don't have a squad. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what it is. Right side gone FC. We're to the left. We're Beyonce FC. To the left. That's what we are. Beyonce FC. We'll be to the left. And even that is not very good. We got a 20-year-old left back from bloody Lecce. Right? What guys, do I have to say it? I hate cooking, but I like cooking. I like cooking sometimes. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, what's going to happen in the AFCON when Ahmed, when Mazraoui, when Mbeumo go? What? Okay, you want to say this, right? You say, okay, we're going to move Bruno to number 10. We're going to move Mainu into the centre midfield. Okay, we play Dalot on the right. But these players, Mainu and that, are not performing. So what are we going to do? Dalot's crap. We know he's crap. He's a passion merchant. We know that. Bruno, discipline, ill-disciplined FC, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? That guy deserves a bloody criminal record for the amount of disciplines he's been going for. That guy's on third warning at a bloody job. Verbal, spoken, written warning. Gone. No matter which coach seat comes in, the same will happen because this group of players can't take instructions. I watched Amram on Monday night giving out instructions, but they weren't following it. Who's to blame? Thank you, my guy. David, I missed you, man. Thank you, my guy. And this is what we're talking about. You can lead a cow to the river. It doesn't mean that the cow is going to drink from the bloody river, does it? You know, and this is what we're talking about here. This is what we're talking about. You can do what you like with the cow. He's not going to drink from the river. The butcher is the only one that understands what it is to be a United fan. If he started the game, it's sort of personalities that we need, Christian. It's the sort of players that we need. The players like Licha Martinez, who I like, Bremo, Cunha, Miss Cunha. Told you guys how important Cunha is. That sort of mentality in our football team. That's what we need. A player like Cunha. And people don't rate Sesko, but Sesko is a presence up front. He makes things happen. He's a presence, and he's still young, by the way. When the likes of Cunha don't play, and you take out Sesko, and you take out Licha Martinez, and you take out this, you're left with players that have achieved zero at Manchester United. To the levels that Man United need to go, you're taking out players you're putting in players that have achieved zero, and at any given moment can let you down. And that is what it is, you know? La Liga is finished. What a shame. I told you guys La Liga was finished. Man City lost to Leverkusen, a weakened Man City, but obviously Haaland did play, I think. But a weakened Man City lost to Leverkusen 2-0. And Bundesliga's having a comeback, to be honest with you, if we're being honest, guys. These leadership players, big up Irene, how you doing? These leadership players have betrayed Amram. The manager trusts them, but they betrayed him. We got to get rid of these rubbish players. They are here for too long. They are too comfortable and pampered. Thank you so much, Irene. Great comment. Absolutely. We have to be ruthless. We have not been ruthless. We've been ruthless with some players, but other players, we've not been ruthless enough. This is what we're talking about. We got to be ruthless, guys. We've got to start changing the narrative. The same players there for 15 years. For goodness sake, man. Are we going to be here in 2030 with Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back? Big up, Garrett, you legend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. That's a good response. Thanks, Sal. Big up, Max. Much love, brother. Hope you're doing well. Sal, these players are useless. Like you said, they are serial losers. Bloody hell. Ted Bundy FC. That's what they are. Bloody serial losers. You know, if these players were a serial killer, it would be Ted Bundy FC. That's what it would be, because they let you down. Mike Myers FC, stab you in the back. For goodness sake, this is what they are. Backstabbing FC. Goodness me, Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? Sleeping on the bloody pitch. That's what they do. Waking up with Freddy Krueger in front of them. We lost the game. Oh, damn. You know, at the end of the day. I could give it all the analogies as we like, of course. Ephraim, Sal, some of our players are counter-attacking players. We need to buy players who can sit the system. I agree, Ephraim, absolutely. Samuel, Ransom Bance and Joshua Zirkzee was the only player trying against Everton. It was one of the worst performances I've seen in United. He had a good header. He had a good header in the game, which was a magnificent save. But that guy could not control the ball. He was like a bloody beanpole, right? He was a beanpole. Goodness me. That guy, it was like Ronald McDonald up there, mate. That's what it was. It was an absolute useless. No intensity, no pressing, no tackling, jogging around the pitch. You know, that guy had headphones in. You know what I mean? Jamming. I hope you like jamming too. We're jamming. That was what was on his flipping headphones on the pitch. That's what he was doing. You know what I mean? It makes me laugh, man. Some people don't know what they're watching. We actually might run on a run. I don't trust them anymore, my guy. Oh, man, I'm done with these players, bruv. I gave him a chance, man. LT, big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. All the big clubs spent money to be competitive and challenge for titles. So I don't get why any of us thought that we were going to be competitive from penny pinching and not fully backing the managers. And not only that, LT, what happened with the goalkeeper? We got the goalkeeper last minute. If we didn't get the goalkeeper last minute, we may have not lost to Arsenal. We may have beaten the Fulham. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is what we're talking about, fine margins here at the end of the day. And this is what we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? It just honestly, LT, big up LT. Fantastic comment as usual, my guy. Absolutely. Cunha will be back up front during the AFCON. Absolutely. He will. Cunha will be back up front. It'll be a false number 9, Max. Yeah, probably be a false number 9 between Bruno, Cunha, Mason Mount. Maybe it'd be something along those lines. That's all I can envision, unless Chido Martin comes into the squad. I can't see. I think I'm looking at Xerxes, and I can't really see how Xerxes gets into this team. You know what I mean, guys? Absolutely. I don't see it, guys. Absolutely. This system don't work at Manchester. Another dumb comment from Trigger Kim. He's a serial dumb comment. At the end of the day, it does work. So we wouldn't beat Liverpool. We wouldn't beat Chelsea. We wouldn't beat Sunderland with it. So how can it not work? How can it not work? System works. The players don't work. That's what it is. The players don't work. The players don't have the intelligence to play that system. What did we play under Eric Ten Hag, Mr. Trigger Kim? What did we play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Mr. Trigger Kim? What did we do? What did we do, bruv? What did we do? Oh, you're such a prat, honest to God. These people, guys, anyone who mentions formation to me again, I'm telling you, getting blocked, bruv. I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, you can't win against Liverpool and not beat 10-men Everton. That's the players' implementation. That is them. You know what I mean? That's them. Open your eyes, for goodness sake. Crazy. Honest to God, people keep talking about the 4-3-3, the 4-2-3. He transitions into 4-4-2, 4-3-1 in the game, and it doesn't work. He does it in the game. If you watch the game, if you analyze the game, not just do I kick ball into goal, and that is what I do. I kick ball. That's your vision of football. It's not that. You said it 1,000 times. You're wrong. You're wrong. Sal, I think that, and I'm a guy who don't like 3 at the back, and even mine. You know, even I'm saying that it's not the problem. I think the only players that was the best on the pitch there was De Ligt and Lamens. I agree with that, Max. Absolutely. I agree. Garrett, Sal, I will go crazy if we renew Maguire and contract. Yeah, well, that's where you go, isn't it? This is exactly what we're talking about. Exactly what we're talking about. This is still the Glazer regime. So what do you expect anyone to do when we still got the Glazer regime? This tactics, this team will work if we had the players. It will work. You know, at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, these players don't want to play. You know? These players don't want to play. And that's it. If they don't want to play, you lead the cow to the river. They're not going to drink for the river. You know what I mean? Coco, I said, big up my friend. Hope you're doing well. I said it before. We need a psychiatrist or motivational speaker to see these frauds here. I agree, mate. Look, I think that if Coco, my guy, I think they are irreplaceable in regard to their mentality, mate. I think their brain is long gone. I think they're finished, guys. I just don't think you can fix it. Like I said earlier, Coco. I said you can try and mold them, but they're already dry. They're already molded into what they are. At the end of the day, if you do ceramics, right, and you mold yourself a pot, once that pot dries, that pot's dry. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what we're talking about here. You know, so I don't think they could be molded. I just think we need a new team, Coco, my guy. I think we need a new team, and I think and that's what it is. I can't trust Bruno and Dalot and Shaw and Maguire and Bruno and Casemiro and Mount anymore, my friend. I'm done with them, you know. FM Sal, how was your birthday? Hope you enjoyed it. Very well, thank you, mate. Very well. Try to ignore what the football thing was and just tried to get on with it, of course. Arman, we'll get top 4. Come on, Arman. Come on, my guy. Ruben Amorim should take the Manchester United players up, Ben Neves, Mount and Snowden. Leave them there. Take them up there, Samuel, and leave them fucking there. Leave them there. That's what you do. F all that business. You know what I mean? Ephraim, put up your HM. Big up Ephraim. Big up Max. Big up everyone, guys. Look, guys, I don't want to come on here, and I don't want to be harsh, but I have to tell people about the birds and the bees. You're good to be, man. Big up yourself. Do you, my guy? Do you? I still think things can change. I do have a little bit concerns about the AFCON coming around the corner, man, my guy. I do have a few problems with that. And you know what? I don't trust these players, man. I'll be real with you, my bro. I'll be real with you that I don't trust these players. Honest to God, I don't trust these players. I call them Ted Bundy FC for a reason. I call them Mike Myers FC for a reason. They will stab you in the back. These guys, they are serial backstabbers. And you know what they did at the weekend? Double confirmed it for me. I've been going on channels with Chest. I've been going on channels with Chest and talking about, you know what, Man United, we're going to do it. We can get in the top four. We're getting the top four, getting the top five. And then they do something like that just to slap me around the face with a wet salmon. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's still a lot of matches to go. I agree. But we have to call things from characteristics, from personalities that we have in this team. Like I said, man, you can't change the spots on the leopard. You can't change the mentality of players that are past their 30s. They're going to be that player forever now. They're going to be that player forever. There's nothing going to change. That is what they are. And we still got them in our football team. Now, look, part of me thinks that, you know what we should do? You know what we should do? We should change our formation. So the formation mongers can go out there and start talking about the formation, right? Let's do that. Because I seem to remember us getting slapped up with a 4-3-3. With a 4-3-3. Slapped up 5-0 against Tottenham. Slapped up 7-0 against Liverpool. With a 4-3-3, right? We want to go down there with the same similar players. Luke Shaw's still there. Bruno Fernandes is still there. Harry Maguire is still there. We want to still go down that road. This is what we're talking about here. Do you know what I mean? At least we're not losing, getting slapped up. At least we beat Liverpool. The game against Everton was a clear indicator that our squad is not good enough, and we are going to be big trouble in the AFCON because even after Xerxes had a chance, he showed why he wasn't picked. Exactly, LT. But I've been talking about it, isn't it? I've been talking about it, about how I'm worried about our team, how we down-tooled. Well, our performance decreased when we made substitutions against Nottingham Forest, when we made substitutions against Tottenham. Our performances decreased. They didn't increase, they decreased. You know what I mean? This is the thing. You know? This is the thing. I'm not going to change flip-flop from what what I believe the problem is. I believe that there is a number of problems at the football club, and it's not just boiled down to one. There are people who will always blame the same things, talk about the same things, talk about that because they want the manager out. I will talk about things from every single angle, not just one angle at the end of the day. I'll tell you why, Max. Because the environment. The environment, Max. When you bring a young player into a football team, right? You bring a young player into a football team, you are in danger of ruining them forever. For example, when the class of 92 came through in 95, 96, all of them, they were integrated slowly. They did play in 94, 95 in the Champions League and stuff like that. But in 95, 96, they were officially integrated into the team. They joined the squad with winners. Peter Schmeichel, Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Andy Cole, Ryan Giggs, Roy Keane, Dennis Irwin. Should I go on? Who they got in this team to look up to right now? Who are those young players got in this team to say, I'm playing alongside Eric Cantona. I'm going to be all right? No, I'm playing again next to throw my hands in the air, petulance in the air, Bruno Fernandes, who's going to blame me for everything. If I make a mistake, he's going to blame me and throw his hands everywhere and stuff like that. You know, this is what we're talking about. And I would love to play the young players, but we have to be very careful here. We have to be very careful. They need to be integrated into an environment that is right for them, right? Otherwise, you'll give them a chance. It may go horribly wrong. And then, obviously, they'll be moved back down to the reserve team. And, that's it at the end of the day. Our players only want to turn up for games where they are the underdogs, but they can't handle the pressure of being expected to win. Exactly. Games. Bruno thinks he can control games, which is deluded. He can't control games. I've never seen him control anything. You know what I mean? He can't even control himself, let alone a game, man. Where anyone makes a mistake, he's the one throwing people, under the bus. He can't control his own emotions. How's he going to control anything, LT? Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Big up, LT. Sal, how people think we need a system to win against 10-man Everton? It is not the system for God's sake. Because they made this opinion. So many people have made this opinion and they sacrifice themselves to this opinion headfirst and they won't move away from it because they lack the intelligence to change their opinion. These same people went missing over this last 5 games. And guys, let me just clarify. We've lost 1 game in 6, right? Let me just clarify, okay? Right, anyway. So what it is, they refuse to change their opinion based on the fact of ego. So they've got this ego, right? And they don't want to move away from it. And it's called the I told you so brigade. I told you so brigade. I told you this and I told you that and I told you that. I ignore them now. I don't entertain them, because at the end of the day, I didn't see them for 5 games. I didn't see them talking about the tactics for 5 games. I didn't see them talking about 4-3-3s for 5 games. Some of our worst defeats in the last 10 years have come from the 4-3-3. In the history of Man United, have come from the 4-3-3. We've not been slapped up yet, right? Like the 4-3-3 we have, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And when people want to talk about defenders, why are we playing 6 defenders? Who do you want him to play? Who do you want him to play? He played Dorgu. He played Dalot. Right? Who else we got? Who else we got to play wing-back position? We've got nobody. We got no Vandersons. We got no Fringpongs. We got nobody. We got a 20-year-old in Dorgu. We got Dalot, who's been there before Ruben Amorim, and he played. So that's what it is. He played. He's got a squad that is weak. And if you don't see this, I just question your knowledge about football. If you can't see this, you're looking at things from a blindfold. No matter if we play 10 at the back, those players should still beat Everton, who had 10 men. They should still beat Everton. The problem was not the 6 at the back, the 5 at the back. The problem was the forwards. The problem was Bruno, the midfield. What we've been talking about, Bagel FC, the problem was the midfield. The midfield was the problem. The midfield was the problem. That was the problem. Xerxes was shit. I don't care. Oh, he hasn't played in there. I don't give a damn how Xerxes played, if Xerxes played, how he plays. Played for fucking Man United, for goodness sake. This is Man United, not Stoke City, mate. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be out for 3 or 4 games. He'll come on that bloody pitch and he'll score 4 goals. That's what bloody winners do. That's what winners do. Not just, just walking around the pitch, strutting myself around the pitch. Oh, I'm just walking around the pitch. Ridiculous. You're playing for Man United. You go on that pitch and you do something. Does form contribute to you not putting a challenge in, not working hard? Does form contribute to that? Because you were walking down the pitch, my son. That's what you were doing. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't want these excuses. Xerxes was crap. Xerxes is crap. It's as simple as that. I would urge people, right? And I want to be realistic with Manchester United here and all Manchester United fans here, right? I want to be realistic with you. How many of the top team would Ahmad get into? How many of the top 10 in the Premier League? Is he as good as Kudus? Is he as good as Kudus? No, he's not, is he? Is Xerxes? Would Xerxes get any of those top teams in the Premier League? No, he wouldn't. It's a fact, and we have to look at that. We have to look at the players that we have, and we have to admit to ourselves and think objectively that these players are simply not good enough. Cunha will be back soon. I think he'll be back next game. Big up, Max. LT. We've only won games where we have less possession, which shows we can't control games. No midfield, isn't it? We had possession showing that we can't break the low blocks. Exactly, no midfield, isn't it? But guys, great show, great passion, great show. Look, thank you, everyone. We move on to Crystal Palace at the weekend, guys. That's what it's all about. We move on to Crystal Palace, and hopefully Man United can do something. It's a difficult game against Crystal Palace. Of course it is. And we know. Trigger Kim, managers don't negotiate with them. We got a conveyor belt of people who are negotiating with Casemiro, not Ruben Amorim. Listen, Trigger Kim, listen. Let me just... We have a conveyor belt of people in the club who negotiate with the players, right? With the players, right? They negotiate. This shows you that the Glazers and Ineos are saying to Ruben Amorim that we're not going to sign another midfielder. Can we keep Casemiro? Because Casemiro will be cheaper, right? That is what it is. Managers don't negotiate with players. Ruben Amorim's been told, if we keep Casemiro, we could buy one midfielder and we can get you a left back, but we can't get, but we can't get two midfielders and a left back or a right back. This is basically what he's been told. So basically what he's saying is that, you know what, you either keep Casemiro or, you know what, we can't do nothing for you because we can't afford another player to play in his position. That is a Glazonomics thing. That's a Glazonomics thing. That's an Ineos thing. That's what we're talking about. You know? And every manager that comes into this football club, Trigger Kim, is going to be screwed. Is going to be screwed. Without doubt. Anyway, much love, guys. Thank you anyway for the comments. Really appreciate you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video and all that sweet stuff, guys. Really appreciate you. We move on to Crystal Palace now. We have to put this behind us. We can't change what has been. We can't change the past. We put this behind us and we move on, guys. That's how Man United should do, guys. At the end of the day, that's what Man United should do. We just will, Man United fans, walk on, move on. That's it. And let's see what happens, guys. It's going to be in for a roller coaster ride, guys. I'm bloody going to have a stroke one day. Honest to God, God forbid. Well, watching this bloody football team, I'm telling you right now, my guys, it's going to be a mad one. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of backing them, I'm tired of the same old narratives, the same old things, the same old arguments, the same old things recycling over and over again. I'm like a duplicate, you know what I mean, every single day. And this is what happens, you know what I mean? And big up everyone. Big up Benny. Big up yourself. Big up and big up Ephraim. I pity Amorim. He should walk away. I agree, Trigger Kim. He should have walked away in the summer. I said that in the summer. Yeah, if he doesn't get back to walk away, I think he should have. Guys, thank you. Love, man. Love. Big up Max. Take it easy, guys. And I'll see you later on for Chatterbox, guys. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. And onwards and upwards, guys. That's all I can say. Great show. Great comments. Great passion. And it's not personal, so don't worry, guys. We have a good conversation on here. A conversation for the realness from a place that we love Manchester United, right? We love Manchester United, right? That is what it is all about at the end of the day, you know? We're not some person sitting in bloody, you know, hateful train. You know what I mean? We actually want Man United to succeed. Take it easy, guys. I'm Sal, and this is Breaking Dawn. See you soon. Peace.